All right. Well, speaking of piping hot new content, you have an all-new trailer for us for one of your forthcoming projects. It's right around the bend. Let's take a look and talk about it.
Everyone wondered how the world ended.
We got hit. America's just been attacked.
But this is the story of how it began.
Los Angeles has been struck by a bomb.
Put your breath in.
It might be nuclear.
I saw this.
So what?
We never come back.
After today, our lives will never be the same.
We have looting and widespread panic.
Hey!
Daddy has a place for us to go. We'll be together.
The city's on fire.
There's a guy, been planning for the big one. Called a few months back, needs security people.
What is this place?
Welcome to Homestead. Your guys have to learn how to farm.
We grow our food. We raise our animals. Can you handle yourself with a gun?
This might be the most prepared location in the Rockies. Everyone's gonna want in. And I mean everyone.
My family's out here, and we're starving to death.
I wish we could help, but we can't.
You can or you won't.
Our kids need us to be strong.
Please.
People are gonna die at this gate.
They're trespassers. In the hills.
They're stealing your grain. They've cut off your solar power.
We need a world where people help strangers, not shoot at them.
Sometimes we think we're doing the right thing, and then it all goes wrong.
It's time for you to take full control. It's complicated. Do you think that you're above the law? Do you think that the rules aren't for you?
Is this an ark, or is this a fortress?
It's our home.
Big swing.
Yes, this is a fun one.
Am I supposed to be understanding something about your read on what America is facing over the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I don't know if it's so much my read but there's a community at Angel Studios that's coming together and picking projects.
Mm-hmm.
And they're picking stuff that's very prescient right now. That and at Thanksgiving, we have a movie coming out called Bonhoeffer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll talk about that too.
Yeah, with the rise of anti-Semitism, it's prescient. This, where there's an economic collapse and there's a nuclear bomb that goes off in LA in this movie, and what would happen for all the people who love homesteading. Homesteading's on the rise. You know, some of the largest influencers in the world now, like Ballerina Farms, these huge influencers that have homesteads. And what happens if you're completely prepared with a homestead and then the end of the world actually comes and you can't save everybody, but everybody needs in?
Right.
What do? Right. It's a moral dilemma that's very, very entertaining, and it's done in a way that families can watch it.
Yeah.
And enjoy it together.
Yeah. I mean, it's clearly, you got characters in there who are obviously members of families. It's not just like Mad Max where, you maybe have one or two relationships left in the entire world. Yeah, I mean, it's the prescience is obviously there, but a big thing for me about why, you guys have been so successful, Angel Studios, is the content that you're putting out is also about right now. It's also reflecting the reality that we are all living in. And so much of what's come out of Hollywood, and I think what's really sort of like made the kind of light go out of people's eyes over time, just over the past 10 years or so, is either just total full-bore fantasy on the one hand, superheroes, galaxies far, far away, weapons that can destroy the known universe, or sort of like, really depressing, like character-driven, you're going to watch these people get divorced for the next 2 hours, right? And like nothing in the middle, which is like, we actually live in a real world.
We actually want to see real heroes, right?
We want to see real heroes. We want to see a reflection of the fact that we live in the moment that we're living in.
Yes.
And so much that has been lacking from Hollywood for so long. And just to see you guys, I think a big part of why people have responded so well is because you are clearly rooted in the world that we actually live in.
Yeah, I think Hollywood lives in a bubble.
Yeah.
They're in this big nihilistic bubble in LA where everybody thinks like them. They're all nihilists, and they're all they all have the same worldview, and so they build movies that represent their worldview. While Angel Studios, what we're doing is we're pulling out of that. We come from outside of that world. It's funded by people from outside of that world. It's built on stories that are outside of that world that represent the rest of the world, the humanity, right?
Yeah. The immediate comparison, I couldn't help myself, between Homestead is that Obama produced film. There was an adaptation of a novel a while back. What is it? Leave the World Behind?
Yes, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Which I broke down and I watched that movie, also sort of about a family trying to figure out how to do things in a post-apocalyptic environment. But very tight, sort of like one house, like one or two families. Very, kind of theatrical in that sense, but rather than cinematic. Did you see that movie? Did you have?
I have seen it. It's the one where the Teslas are like all driving into like those little white fake computer Teslas are all running into each other.
Do you really, what is our former president trying to say about what he thinks is coming around the bend?
Yeah, at the end, that was a very depressing movie for me. It was very interesting at certain parts. That's the one with Julia Roberts, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it didn't leave enough of a memory for me to know to be precise on the title, but I do remember the storyline, and this does have some elements like that. And then the movie from A24, Civil War, it has some elements like this. But this is a movie that Middle America can enjoy. This is a movie that's got the intensity. When my wife watched it, she screened it, and throughout the movie, she's like, "I don't know if I want to be watching this. I don't know if I want to be watching this," because it's intense and it's got some really hard moral dilemma. And at the very end of the movie, she was just like, "I loved it."
Yeah.
Like like moms, this movie's made for moms.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful film.
Not a film where the main characters are journalists.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, I've watched my share of Alex Garland films, but I mean, Civil War, you're put in the shoes of a journalist sort of making their way across America, and I don't know those.
But I mean, just think about it. Just imagine you're prepared and your neighbor walks up and you don't have enough food for everybody, and these are people that you went to church with.
Yeah.
And they don't have anything.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah, not strangers.
Yeah, these are not strangers. These are your neighbors. And what do you do? What do you do when your local mayor shows up? What do you do when it asks some pretty challenging questions.
Yeah, and it's not just hypothetical. Like I've got some friends out in Prepperville and everything, and they're not crackpots. These are like serious people, and what they reference is, you go back to Yugoslavia in the 90s, the guys who were the best prepared for something to go down, all their neighbors knew it. And so the minute things actually did go wrong, it was this situation. They were besieged by everyone in town saying like, he's got the stuff, like, we got, and then you find yourself like going from the best prepared to the worst prepared.
Well, and my personal belief, and this doesn't necessarily represent the movie, but my personal belief is that if you're prepared, and as a Christian, that your job is not to pull out your gun and tell your neighbors to get out of your food.
Right.
Maybe you need to do that with the government. I don't know, but with your neighbors, your job is to just give. Like God doesn't care about whether or not our physical bodies survive. He cares about our hearts.
Yeah.
And when you can share with other people, you can change hearts and bring them to Christ.
Yeah. And the heart's physical, but it's not just physical.
That's right. That's right. And so there's, my personal belief is that if you're prepared, you should be sharing, right? That's the opportunity. That's what God prepared you for, so that you can share and change other people's hearts. But the movie takes it, there's characters coming from all different directions, so it's very fun.
Yeah.
The other thing that we're doing that's really interesting with Homestead is the Homestead team put together a package of a tiny home of all these supplies, and one moviegoer gets to win a $300,000 homestead in a box, essentially.
Wow.
It's a tiny home. You get a Bitcoin. You get all this food storage. You get this Polaris SUV thing. And there's one person who buys a ticket that gets, because everybody who buys tickets, if you go to angel.com/homestead giveaway, everybody who buys a ticket early gets entries into the giveaway. And then one person is going to walk away with with Homestead.